They played Team Nicaragua, that'll be competing in the WBC, and it looks like the Cardinals did all right, coming from behind to win. Let me see how they did.
3 runs in the bottom of the 8th.
I know, but I wanted to see who did what. I guess Kramer, Robin. Yeah, I said. Let's see. Boy, did they rally with? Did they rally with 2 outs? It looks like. Boy, I don't know. This box score is really stupid. So anyway, but they win, and that's the most important thing. And I know that before I'll catch up with this because it's like almost impossible to read this box score. So I'm just going to leave that alone right now. I do know that Lars Nootbaar had a really good game for Japan, helping his best friend in the world and future St. Louis Cardinals teammate Shohei Ohtani get a big win over China, 8-1. So that'll bring those two even closer, and I expect Ohtani to declare his love for the Cardinals in St. Louis at any moment, really, and saying that he will in fact sign with the Card. I better shut up. People are so like jacked up about this, and I'm only joking. So just forgive me.
You don't think that John Mozeliak gave Lars Nootbaar credit cards? Make sure you take your friend out to dinner on us. Now, make sure you tell him how great it is here and all this and all that. You don't think that's happening?
No, probably not. Probably not. Anyway, I'm stumbling all over the place today because we have a short show, and so what the heck, right?
Yeah, we're going to have fun.
Doug Armstrong, we had to record this in the morning. There's no problem, but we'll let you hear our interview with Doug Armstrong, the Blues general manager, coming up a little later in the show. And that's our only guest today. But let's talk, Jim, I think we should maybe talk about St. Louis U to kick it all off here. 82-54. Some of the things that stood out to me were, first of all, the defense that they played on Oduro, the big man from George Mason, who's given them so much He's given them so much problems. Today, that really wasn't the case. I mean, even though he scored 15 points, he was less than 500 from the floor, 5 for 13, and he only had 3 rebounds. The Billikens did a heck of a job on the boards today, held their own on the offensive boards. They had an advantage on the defensive boards, and overall outboarded George Mason 33-27. I mean, it was just one of those games. SLU led by as many as 30, and again, the final score 82-54. Billikens shot 56%, including 33 from three-point range, but they played excellent defense, held George Mason to 36.5% shooting overall, only 22% from three. 15 turnovers forced by the Billikens, and the Billikens themselves had only 9 turnovers. So when you can win that advantage, that's a big deal because sometimes SLU tends to turn that thing over way too many times. Jimerson leads the Billikens with 21. Okuro with 7 rebounds, 3 blocks, and 6 points. Collins with 10 assists. Pickett had 13. Parker had 10. Everybody who played in this game, 10 Billikens scored, and things were good all over. I mean, I don't really have anything to say in terms of, oh man, they better watch out. They can't do that tomorrow. That they played a really well all-around game, and just immediately, asserted themselves pretty much immediately. And we were talking with Troy Robertson on the show yesterday, and, sure enough, we were both in agreement that SLU entered the Atlantic 10 tournament as a dangerous team because if they hit their shots and they get on a roll, their confidence, really kind of rockets up, and that's exactly what happened today. They look like a very, very confident team. Now, tomorrow it gets tougher because they will play the number 1 seed, the regular season champion VCU, tomorrow at noon, and that's in Brooklyn, New York. You got any thoughts on the game, Jim?
I'm like you. I thought their defense really picked up. There was a 1 point first half. It was like 19-2 run or close out the first half, and it was like I'll be honest, I was a little surprised. I'm not surprised that they won. It's just the manner in which they did it today. They went out and took care of business. You mentioned Oduro, the big man for George Mason. He has given the Billikens all kinds of issues in the course of his time at George Mason, and I was expecting 20-something points from him, and it was going to be pulling teeth, but they held him to 15, as you said, and he was only getting 3 rebounds. An impressive performance by the Billikens. More like the team many thought they could be when we were talking all the hype when the season started. Tomorrow's going to be different, but you know what? You win one and you move forward. That's how this thing works. And if you find a way to knock off the number 1 seed, you like your chances moving forward. But that's a tough get tomorrow. But take advantage and enjoy what you accomplished today against a good George Mason basketball team.
Yeah, they're not too bad. So things are going okay for the Billikens in so far. So far so good, as they say. And then I think there's still a couple of games still to go in the A10 tournament tonight, but we don't have to worry about too much, because the only thing that pertains to the Billikens is did they win today? Yes. Who will they play tomorrow? We already know that, and that's VCU. So the rest of it's okay. What am I going to do? Break down one of those games? I don't know. We have Illinois No, I'm probably not. We have Illinois basketball coming up for you. Pregame at 4:30 here on 590 The Fan KFNS, and then at 5:30, Fighting Illini, who are the number 7 seed in this tournament, will take on Penn State, who's the 10th seed. Penn State, of course, we know, unfortunately, took the Illini down both times during the regular season. So you also have, let me see here, Rutgers won earlier today, beating Michigan 62-50. I haven't checked the Ohio State-Iowa game because it's close. Because it was close.
61-59 right now, Iowa with 4.5 minutes left.
That's how it was when I wrote down a score earlier, way before airtime. So, and then it'll be number 14 Minnesota against number 6 Maryland. Go Maryland, why not, right?
Yeah.
SEC, Mizzou's just kicking back. They're waiting for to see who they're going to play tomorrow. But if you're interested, you're keeping tabs a little bit. Mississippi State, the 9th seed, edged Florida, the 8th seed, 69-68. Ole Miss and Tennessee are playing. Or I don't know if that started yet, but they're playing, and Mizzou gets the winner of that game. Later tonight, it's number 10 Arkansas against number 7 Auburn, number 14 LSU against number 6 Vandy, who, of course, is coached by John Wooden. Oh, no, that's right. It's Jerry Stackhouse. So who did epic work bringing that Vanderbilt basketball program to huge prominence in college basketball. In fact, I think I looked at some odds today. They're now favorite to win the entire thing. So, because Jerry Stackhouse, no one can outcoach him, according to the Associated Press voters.
He's an intimidating force on that sideline.
Apparently, I'm not going to let this go. It's too early to let this go. I figured something out. These idiotic AP voters, I figured out there's who... I don't know any of these guys. I don't watch any SEC basketball, not much anyway. I know Calipari coaches there. I know Alabama had that problem with the that gun thing and all that. I think I know who Buzz Williams is. When did he leave Marquette? Last thing I saw, he was at Marquette. And, there's a name I recognize, Jerry Stackhouse. So, Calipari and Stackhouse. Okay. I'll vote for Stackhouse. I think that's how it went.
I think you're onto something here. There's no doubt about that. By the way, I have a score. Mississippi and Tennessee are tied at 29 with 5 minutes to go until half. So they're
not, without Ziegler, Tennessee's not the same team.
No, it's true.
It'll be nice. Listen, but Mizzou took Tennessee down bad early there in the season, regular season, and they. Now listen, I don't take anything for granted because Mizzou had a fight like hell to beat Ole Miss at home last Saturday. So I don't know who you'd rather play, but I would still like their chances either way. I really would. I'm not being a homer here. I just would. Tennessee doesn't have their essential point guard. Ole Miss is better since they fired their coach late in the season, but I don't know. As the number 4 seed, I would expect Mizzou to come out and hit some shots and win. But maybe I am being a homer. I don't know. All right, today in spring training, I was able to finally find a box. So the Cardinals rally. They're playing Nicaragua, and I think my old friend. I don't think Dennis Martinez was pitching for them. I'll double check on that. I mean, he pitched in the majors till about age 44, but some good games today. But again, there's a lot of scrubs we're playing as well, and that's no big deal. But I'm just going to go right down the line in no particular order of importance. Just some notable things, whether it be good or bad. Mason Wynn has another hit today. He goes 1 for 4. You'll take it. We can't expect him to be killing it every single game. Paulie DeYoung, I don't know how the revival's going, but he was 0 for 3 today with a couple strikeouts. Contreras caught today and had 1 hit and 2 at-bats, scored a couple of runs. I think that's how it went. Yeah, he's 2 runs scored. He must have got hit by a pitch or something. Kisner, and he's in that tense battle with Barrera for the start, the number two catching job. Kisner was 1 for 4 with an RBI. Scotty Hurst, I guess I should put him in that outfield competition now, 3 for 4. And so they kind of just moved it all around. The big shooter Lucan Baker had a double, and I love that guy. Yes. And went 1 for 2. So. No home runs for the Cardinals today. Cardinals had they left a lot of guys on base, but they did score. What was it? 4 in the 9th, something like that. 3 in the 9th, and they win, or the 8th. I have to say.
Yeah, bottom. Yeah.
Again, terrible box score here. You think MLB.com would do better? Dakota Hudson. Now I do think this is notable, and it's kind of a mixed bag for me because he pitched 4 innings. He didn't allow a run. He allowed 2 hits. That's fine. But he walked 3. That is not fine. And Hudson, overall, if you're looking at the bottom line, it's kind of a Dakota Hudson thing. This spring, I'm talking about. It's not like he's been slapped around, but he's not striking many people out, and he's probably walking too many. But he's also, he's got a really low ERA. In fact, I don't believe he's allowed to run this spring. He hasn't. So I guess I'll take this. I'm not sure why he would walk 3, but maybe it was a bad strike zone, and I'm not being facetious. Helsley was great. He pitched 1 inning, and even though he gave up a hit, he struck out the side. Another bad day at the office for Jordan Hicks, who at one point, I don't know when the Cardinals were ahead. It must have been early because they had him down with a blown save. I don't care about that, but I'm just noting it. So anyway, today, 2/3 of an inning, gave up a run and 3 hits. He walked a couple. That's just not a good day for him. He's got a 13.50 ERA at this point. Chris Stratton didn't pitch well. I think he's on the club in the bullpen because they really like him. You know why they were like him? He's got a rubber arm. The guy could pitch 3 or 4 days in a row if you need him. He never, seriously, he's always available just about. And I put him in that category of pitchers that don't have anything to prove. You know who he is. You know what you're going to get from him. And so today it was pretty bad. 1 inning, 2 hits, 1 run, 2 walks. But again, he's one of those guys where I don't care about that. The Cardinals traded for him for a reason when he came as part of the Quintana deal. Again, rubber arm guy. You can use him probably more frequently than anyone on the team in that bullpen. Tink Hentz, part of the superstar prospect galaxy the Cardinals have. 1 inning. He gets the win. Verhagen got the save. He pitched good. I'm not being sarcastic. He's pitched well this spring, and you can add to this. That's another inning. He did give up a hit, but no runs, and struck out 2. And by the way, I owe. Let me see here. This is bad radio. Me thumbing through scrolling through a box score. It's terrible stuff. So I'm even boring myself, like you have no idea. So I'm gonna stop talking about the box score. So, what else we got today? Blues tonight. They're gonna be able to keep the puck out of the net.
That'll be an interesting dilemma. Yeah.
San Jose coming in, right?
Yep. Sharks are struggling. They obviously traded their best player, Timo Meier. They're going to struggle figuring it out. But I know the Blues have changed the lines up again tonight. Jim Thomas told us a little while ago that who am I thinking of? Oh, Buchnevich. He's going to go on center tonight.
Oh, that's good.
They've been talking about this for quite some time, that they want to move him to the center position and see what he can do. And I think they're really contemplating making that his position as opposed to the wing now, especially now you've traded 3 centers away out of the organization. So you watch that. Callie Rosen back in the lineup tonight, Bernie.
Was he out? Was he hurt?
He was just out. They were was part of the let's see what Tyler Tucker has.
Oh, I see. Yeah, that's been one of those weirdo Berube things this season.
But
well, we can't have him out there. He's even though he's by far our best defenseman in terms of the bottom. But he's we need those big guys out there. It's okay. Yeah.
So Tucker is watching tonight, and Callie's back in. Now, I do remember
it's so bizarre.
On this recent trip, they kept asking Berube about, what's up with Rosen, and he just kind of said, well, he hasn't done anything wrong. We just want to get a look at Tucker. He'll get his time. Well,
yeah,
tonight's his night.
Well, if we're under if we're operating under the, the situation dictating certain things, as in, Blues fans should 100% be rooting for the Blues to lose. Now, if I could kind of thread the needle and sort of have it both ways, it's not even having it both ways. I hope they lose every game, which they won't. Because I want to see Doug Armstrong get a hold of the very best draft pick in the first round that he can. That would be the Blues' own pick. The Blues have 3 first-rounders this year. But Doug Armstrong's got that premium pick that'll be in the top 10. We want that thing to slide down. In fact, the more the Blues lose, the more their percentage of getting the number 1 overall pick goes up, although there's still a long shot at this point, but it's possible. Lose every game. That said, when they're losing every game, I hope we see good performances by some of their players. The guys that need to kind of establish something or reestablish something, like Thomas and Kyrou and Shen and some of these defensemen. I wouldn't mind some people stepping up, but maybe not too much. I know that sounds stupid, but you can count me in on that. The colony of Blues fans that just all they care about right now is the future, and the future could be changed pretty quickly if the Blues can somehow sneak up closer to that first pick in the entry draft this summer. So I don't know. Just go for it. But I was reading all the odds and everything. It's always interesting. You never know who's going to wind up getting that pick, right?
Yeah, I mean it really is the true lottery system. Gives everybody a chance. Some more than others. It's weighted. But to your point, I find myself, hey, Blues are up. They're playing good. And I'm like, yeah, but we need to cool it on this a little bit. Huh?
Right. No.
How about a 2-on-1 the other way and let one home? And it's like, oh, boy.
Yeah, I've seen Blues fans like quarreling about this. But no, I mean, why would you want them to go on a roll? Is it going to help them for the future? No. Will it help the players feel better for a day? We're winning. This is really fun. Okay. It can, like, what? They're going to carry that over into next season? They're going to start out like 11-1 or something?
Yeah, that's not going to happen.
Because they won late this season? Come on, man. Have some sense. They got to lose. All that matters now is the draft pick and how high it's going to be or how low it should be. I tell you what we'll do here on the Bernie Show. We will take I think I've got everything we at least needed to measure. No, let me hear real quick, and I promise I'll be quick. In the WBC, I told you earlier Japan beat China 8-1, but Lars Nootbaar, man, outstanding game. 2 for 4 with 2 walks, 2 runs, and a stolen base. That's outstanding. And Ohtani had a great game for them. No need to read stats. Italy upset Cuba 6-3 in 10 innings, and that really was an upset. I mean, that Cuba team's got Luis Robert and Yon Makata from the White Sox, among some other prominent Cuban players, not guys that are in the Major League Baseball in the United States, but guys in their own nation considered huge stars. It's funny because you never know. I didn't follow the composition of these rosters. I did know that Palante is a member of Team Italy, and in fact, in today's game, he got in there. He worked 2 innings, and they were scoreless innings, but he did allow a hit and 2 walks. No big deal. But so it was good to see him have some success. And our old friend, no longer a Cardinal, your boy Ben DeLuzio is on Team Italy, and I don't think he got into the game today. Maybe he did. Maybe he won at bat. Another guy on Team Italy is I should say he is a first-round draft pick, Sal Frelick, drafted early by Milwaukee a few years ago or a couple years ago, and he's considered, if he's not their top prospect, I think he's like their number 2 or number 3 prospect. So he is pitching he is playing the outfield for Team Italy. I'm just always curious about that. What names are going to pop up on some of these teams? Oh,
absolutely. I did a quick glance. I think it was late last night. I just started going through, and I go, I didn't see that guy there. Just overlooked. So it's an interesting watch. I got to try to stay up later now to watch these games. It's a little tough, but it'll be interesting to see which guys do well, especially from St. Louis. They're scattered everywhere right now.
One other note, and I keep saying one more, but really I wanted to get some things out of the way that are newsworthy. People were wondering about Carlos Rodon. Is okay. He's been healthy for a year and a half or 2 years, but man, the injuries just always hanging overhead. The possibility of that. So the Yankees signed him to a big deal over the offseason, and he's going to start the 2023 season on the injured list because of the dreaded left forearm muscle strain. Mm-hmm. Those things are never good. Those things can become really bad because it can lead to elbow trouble. And so he underwent an MRI, and they're calling it a mild strain, and they're calling it a superficial forearm muscle. One that he had, very similar, he had something like this with the Giants last season. So in his best John Mozeliak impersonation, Brian Cashman said, the finding was something, but not significant or serious. Okay. Okay, we'll see. Taking the advice from Mo and how you try to make them media people believe that it's nothing. If it wasn't spring training, he'd make his next start.